Hey everybody, it's Kevin here from Happy Beard Games, and this is October 2020's Video Games Monthly unboxing, and it's a lot of fun. I've been subscribed for a long time. It's definitely worth it. Last month was probably my best month I've ever had, where I got Mike Tyson's Punch-Out, and a really nice selection of games last month, so I'm pretty excited for this month. And just one quick note before we start today, October is Gametober on Happy Beard Games. Gametober is where I play horror-themed games throughout the entire month of October. I've had a late start this month, but I do have some content coming, so if you stay tuned to Happy Bird Games in the next couple days, definitely within the next week, you'll see some Happy Bird Games Gametober content, as well as before that, a video outlining what's coming up this month, as well as the new Gametober logo for this year, which is the 6th year of Gametober on Happy Bird Games. So I hope you look forward to that. Let's jump in with the unboxing. Hey, we got a 1-Up. It's on a different type of card than they usually use. It's a smaller card. It says 1-Up. Congratulations, you received a free game. So I didn't point it out before, but we're getting a total of 5 games this month. Once again, every month I'm getting a 1-Up, which is pretty cool. I don't know, I found a heart container on the floor. No, there was a sticker from Video Games Monthly, a heart container from The Legend of Zelda, as well as this one, which is a Wind Waker style Link, and a Korok from The Legend of Zelda series. It's another sticker. And he's on his paraglider, Deku Leaf, I think is what it was, in Wind Waker that you glided on. Pretty cool. Bonus stuff. Now, the first game we've got this month is... Oh, whoa! I was just playing this on the Nintendo Switch Online. Now, this is kind of weird because I have this game already. I've had it for years. But it's nice to have it on the Super Famicom. And that is Super Donkey Kong 2. You might know it as the North American English version as Donkey Kong Country 2 Diddy's Kong Quest. But this is called Super Donkey Kong 2 in Japan on the Famicom. Super Famicom. And it's really nice condition cart. Really cool to have this. Like, the condition's really good. I'll show you some close-ups of the card as well. And some of the gameplay. So the first game I got in this month's Video Games Monthly was, of course, Super Donkey Kong 2, Dixie and Diddy, which is known in North America and pretty much the rest of the world as Donkey Kong Country 2, Diddy's Kong Quest. It's one of my favorite games in the Donkey Kong series. It might actually be my favorite game now that I think about it. I've had it since I was a kid on the Super Nintendo. This is the Super Famicom, still playable on the same console. This is the Japanese region version of the game, so it's pretty much the exact same with some Japanese text. And unlike Super Donkey Kong, which came before it, which was Donkey Kong Country, I don't think there's any differences between the two versions. There's a little bit of differences between Super Donkey Kong and Donkey Kong Country. With this one, I don't think there's any real difference aside from a few parts of Japanese text. So that's good because it means the game's fully playable, and now I have 2 copies of it, essentially. Yeah, it's just a great game. If this gameplay footage and what I'm saying doesn't persuade you enough to check this game out if you haven't, I don't know what will, because this is a really fun game. I'm only showing the first level here, of course, not enough time. But this game just gets better and better as it goes on, and as you can see from the gameplay, it should look a lot of fun to you if you like platforming games. Now I'm showing it side by side here so you can get gameplay footage of both characters, which are Diddy Kong, the one with the red hat, who plays a little bit differently than his sidekick, Dixie Kong, who can use her ponytail to hover in this game, which is a new mechanic they added in this version of the game, or in this sequel. And Donkey Kong is not playable because they're on a quest to rescue Donkey Kong, who has been kidnapped. And altogether, it's a really awesome game. Everything about it's cool. Yeah, I can't say enough about it, but I'm really happy to get it in this month's VGM because it's nice to have it on the physical version, and it's nice to have another copy of it. It's not the most exciting thing ever, but it's still one of my favorite games, so I can't really say that I'm disappointed with it. This one feels like another Super Famicom. Oh, sweet! Dragon Ball Z 3. I'm not sure what series this is in. There's a fighting game series of it on the Super Famicom, and there's also an RPG series. This might be the RPG one or might be a fighting one. I actually bought one Dragon Ball Z game a couple weeks ago at a local store, and for the Super Famicom, that is. And so I wasn't sure if my games that I checked off that I bought within the last week or two would be noticed by Video Games Monthly, and if I'd get a duplicate. This next game is probably the highlight of this month's box. It's completely awesome, a lot of fun, very exciting.
And I love Dragon Ball Z. This is Dragon Ball Z Super Butoden 3. I think I have the second one of this that I bought about a week ago, but it has different characters, so maybe each game has different characters, so it might be worth playing 2 and 3. So Dragon Ball Z Super Butoden 3 is actually a tournament fighting game, so it's a 2D fighting game similar to Street Fighter 2 in ways, but it does its own thing in a unique way, and has Dragon Ball Z themes and characters. As with the other Dragon Ball Z games on the Super Famicom, this has really great graphics for Super Nintendo and Super Famicom. Everything looks good, sounds good, plays fast, and it just feels great. It looks like the show and manga, and it's really cool to have this game on the Super Famicom. While the game's in Japanese, the controls were very easy to pick up and play and understand. I didn't understand how to do combos or special attacks just yet, but I could figure out the button combinations easy enough for charging up your ki energy. Things like jumping into the sky to fight, things like punches and kicks and key attacks, and the basics of the gameplay. You can even dash using the L and R buttons to move forward or backwards faster. A cool thing about this game's gameplay is that when you move too far apart from each other, it does a widescreen split, so each player kind of has their own split screen, similar to like how they did on LEGO Star Wars games later on, but that way you can shoot at each other from a distance. But on this game, when you get closer, it merges into one single screen. I thought that was really cool, and there's a mini-map sort of screen on the top that shows a smaller version of the fight going on. This way you always know where the fighters are during the match. It seems like this game is all centered around the Majin Buu arc, which is later in the series of Dragon Ball Z. So the characters they have are appropriately based upon that arc of the series. So you have Goku, Gohan, Goten, I think it's Supreme Kai, and then Majin Buu. You've also got Trunks and Majin Vegeta and Android 18, as well as, I think his name's Dabura or something like that. He's a big red devil guy. I'm not sure on the name about that guy. But those are your playable fighters for this game so far. There might be some to unlock. It's kind of weird not having Krillin or Piccolo in this, but I'm not sure about if they're unlockable or not. It's also worth noting that all of the Saiyan characters are in their Super Saiyan forms. So you've got Super Saiyan Goku, Super Saiyan Majin Vegeta, and stuff like that. But overall, I'm very excited to play this game some more. It was a lot of fun when I checked it out just now, and it's really an awesome game. I'm really happy with this one.
So that's pretty cool. Dragon Ball Z and Donkey Kong Country. Next game, we got Rygar. Rygar is a game that I've heard about a lot, and I've heard that it's actually pretty cool. From what I remember, it's a pretty cool game. From what I've heard about it, but I've never played it, so I don't know anything about it really, but here's Rygar for the Nintendo NES. I think it's kind of one of those more memorable games from the NES library. I think it's kind of like a Ninja Gaiden-ish.
The next game we got is Rygar for the Nintendo NES. Now this one might be the weakest game I got in the box. I personally didn't like it very much, so I never played Rygar before today, but Rygar it's alright. It's very challenging, very Nintendo hard. It's very hard in that you have basically 3 hits before you die unless you get some more health, and when you die it's a game over. I didn't see any password or continue feature either. There's probably some way to continue though, but I don't know about it yet. So the interesting thing about Rygar is that you have a special weapon. It's not a whip, it's not a flail, it's not a mace. It's kind of like a yo-yo with like spikes or fire or something on it. It kind of has that yo-yo effect. If you ever punch someone in real life with a balloon, it kind of has that weird feel to it, and you kind of get that feeling emulated in the gameplay. It's kind of weird and kind of hard to explain other than it feels like you're hitting someone with a balloon. So when you hit certain enemies, they die like a normal enemy, but other enemies will bounce back as you hit them and roll back at you. I also noticed during the gameplay that you can jump on enemies, sort of like Super Mario Bros., but this will only stun them. There's also weird instances where you go inside doorways and there's like a guru or wise man type character, and he'll give you some information, tips, or clues about what to do next in the game, which is kind of helpful I guess, but it's also very vague. But that's all I gotta play for the game Rygar. I might check it out some more later, but for now I'm leaving it.
So I'm pretty happy to get that one. And then we've got 2 more games in here. Oh wow, another Super Famicom game? I can tell because of the way it feels. Populous. Populous. I don't know what this is. It sounds vaguely familiar. It was probably on the Super Nintendo at one point, but this is a Super Famicom version, so it might not be a region exclusive. I don't know, populous. What is populous? What does that remind me of? It kind of reminds me of like Sim City. This might be like a simulation type game, like a town sim or a building simulator. I'm not sure. I don't really know anything about this one.
The next game I got was also for the Super Famicom. It's called Populous. It was published by EA, Electronic Arts, and I don't know anything about this game. I kind of assumed it might have been a sim game, like a Sim City, and I was probably right about that. It looks like it's a world-building simulations or like a civilization type game. I don't know if there's any wars or battles in it, but there is like some sort of kingdom building and world building with hills and mountains and islands. There's a big ocean and stuff. I don't know much about this game, and I don't know how to do the tutorial because I don't know or read or speak Japanese. There may or may not be a translation patch, and I may or may not be interested in this enough to even go look for one. But it does seem kind of interesting to me. It's not really my type of game. But it does look like a decent one. I don't know much about Populous, and I don't know how to play it, so any information on that would be very helpful. I did notice that while playing the game, if you press the select button, you have access to the bottom two menus on the game screen. So you have things like adjusting tiles, I think, and selecting different buildings and stuff like that. But I wasn't sure how to use it once again. So that's Populous for the Super Famicom.
So we got a trio of Super Famicom goodness and one Nintendo NES. We've got one more game in this box and I have no idea what it could be. So let's find out right now. Oh, it's another Nintendo NES game, which has been a theme for us lately. Rush in Attack. Russian Attack. Like Russian? Like Russia?
The next game is Rush in Attack by Konami. The game's title is a play on words, like you're rushing to attack someone, but then it's also Russian Attack, like Russia. You parachutes in at the starting cutscene, and you're basically running as fast as you can, stabbing back and forth, left and right, dodging enemy attack kicks, and more. The gameplay is pretty straightforward, fast, arcadey action. It definitely feels like an arcade game. I'm not sure if this is a port of an arcade game or if it was made originally for the Nintendo NES by Konami. Most of the attacks in this game are done with the B button using your knife, but eventually you can pick up a rocket launcher and shoot rockets or missiles at your enemies for a few shots. One of the hardest things about this game from what I played so far, and I've never played it before today, is that you press the up button to jump. I don't like that, but they use the A button for your special gun attack, and then they use the B button for the normal knife attack, and then they use the up button for jumping. And then there's a part where the level kind of stops, and a few waves of enemies come to attack you. Then you make it to the next stage, and I did make it to the second stage in this game today. Russian Attack kind of surprised me and was actually a lot of fun. It felt very arcadey, kind of felt in the same vein as Donkey Kong, the original arcade Donkey Kong that is, because of the way you jump over things, the way you move, and the way you have limited attacks. And it's worth pointing out that on the game's cart artwork and box artwork, it has that classic Konami style similar to Castlevania games, The Goonies 2, Metal Gear, and Contra, how they have that classic border, the gray border around the Konami games. It always looks nice and fits in with the style of the other Konami games for the NES.
Konami is pretty good on the NES days. And then I think that's about it, so we can check the box. Oh, whoa, we got one more bonus item, not just the Zelda Korok and the Zelda heart container. We've got a Pokemon pencil, and it's got Squirtle on it. Aw, I bought Pokemon Blue when I was a kid, so it's got Squirtle on it. I don't know, it's kind of funny. So there we go, we got a Pokemon pencil. Really cool box, awesome time VGM. If you're interested in VGM, all their information is in the description box of this video below. You can find their website, their Twitter, and so on just by links in the description, as well as my information as well. I hope you liked this video. Stay tuned for more classic gaming goodness on Hybrid Games. Stay tuned for more Hybrid Games. You can check me out on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook as well. Subscribe today on YouTube right here. And until next time, everybody, bye. Have a good one. Have a happy Halloween if I don't see you until then. Yeah.